looks like a weird mace.
Okay.
Hi everyone.
How you guys doing?
This is weird. If you clicked on it, you already know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Because we don't already.
Yeah, we don't really, but we have a vague idea. But it is some form of podcasty thing.
Yes.
Of some sort.
So kind of like the topic of the day that we thought of, just like, I don't know, 5 minutes ago, was, like tabletop role-playing games. I don't remember how we got onto, like, the subject of it, but, like, we started talking about one of the old playthroughs that we did that we didn't really finish, of course. Like,
no.
Both the characters didn't just die, or, like, nothing was, like, fully accomplished. But it was, at the time when I was learning 2nd edition combat, like, more in-depth, and, learning abilities and stuff like that, and I was like, let's make some stupid random characters, and
basically
do
because
some test combat.
We knew that they were both going to be one-off characters kind of thing. So we were just making the dumbest characters we could.
Yeah.
We both went gnome, surprisingly, not really surprisingly. We were both a gnome. Zach's character, Moira Brown. She's a great character in Fallout.
This is before we played Fallout, by the way.
Yeah, this is before we really even recorded anything for the channel, I believe. Mm-hmm. But he got Moira Brown, and she's a wild mage. Yeah, this guy could have been pretty bad. I
never went that bad.
My character was named Freud O'Brien. Don't ask about the name because I think I just pulled it out of my butt, literally. Just
you probably went to a name generator.
I probably did, and then I found the name Freud, and I'm like, that's freaking hilarious. So I put it in. So we were both gnomes. I think that I was a what was it?
Have you ever tried to squish a gummy bear head to butt? It is really hard to do.
Head to butt?
And like squish it. I mean,
yeah, because it slides.
No, like even okay. Well, yeah, but
this is currently.
Well, I kind of got it crunched up, but it's not all.
He broke his back.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Anyway.
I'm trying to remember exactly what my class was. We have Roll20 open, which is where we were. These are my little things. I can't remember what it was, but it was like basically my class.
I probably have it on my account.
Probably. Basically,
I think you were like a rogue or a warrior or something.
I was a warrior of some sort, and then I had like my subclass kind of thing, or like my gnome exclusive class was like it was like a wall basically where I was like a good defender.
I can't remember what
it was called either, but I think
it's part of the barbarian.
I might have been a gnome barbarian. But so yeah, Frodo Bright and Moira Brown are like just questing together. It's freaking ridiculous.
Pretty much.
So like the opening to it, because again it was kind of just more of a combat test. We didn't really have like why we're here kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Why are we here?
Zach quickly threw together a setting of we're at a farm place. We were kind of just doing like odd jobs around the place to get money. That was about it. And then like goblins came. So
literally every D&D's first enemy, every D&D player's first enemy
is a goblin
they will ever fight ever.
Yeah. So goblin,
unless you play with me, and then I'll stick you up against a fucking minotaur, which I've done to people.
Yeah. How did that turn out for them?
They killed it.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Surprising.
Well, we started them off at level 2.
Okay.
Just because some of the people were new. So we were like, I really
just
don't want to...
give them a little bit of...
Yeah. I really don't want to kill their first characters off immediately. I mean, the first character death is always, like, the hardest. But...
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know. I put him up against the Minotaur because I was like, well... I kind of went out of character for a little bit. And I was like, well... I'm sure you guys have heard that every first enemy that anyone ever fights is a goblin. They're like, so we're going to fight some goblins. I'm like,
let's go for a Minotaur.
It's almost a goblin if you make it a lot shorter and take away its horns. Literally, the two people that have played with me before went, a fucking Minotaur? I'm like, no.
What it is, it's a Caftar.
It's a Caftar, yeah.
Yeah. But
Caftar.
Anyway, so like I think it was like 7 goblins. They were coming at us, and again, it was just a test combat. I think that we were like level 1 or 2. We started off above level 0.
I think we were 2.
So
I normally try to start off new stupid characters at 2.
Yeah. So, like, I can't remember exactly like what like Zach was doing during the battle. He tried to do spell stuff, but it just always ended up badly.
Didn't I make myself like speak bubbles for a while or something?
I can't
failed a spell.
I think something like that happened.
So something happened where I had to roll on the wild magic chart, and I remember bubbles in particular.
Yeah.
And
he probably farted bubbles for as far as I know. Who really knows? But
basically,
like as soon as I saw the goblins, my guy was ready. You know, he was getting ready, and I had to roll a dex thing because Zach felt like messing with me. I failed my dex thing, and I slipped and fell in a big pile of pig crap
or pig carp,
as Zach spelled it on roll 20.
I spelled it and lost and lost.
So like my first roll of the game,
you fell in.
I fell in pig nasties. Mm-hmm. So those were a great start, and I had chainmail on, so you know that's gonna take forever to clean up. It was just gonna be bad. You ate all of those.
You should never give me the gummies.
Holy balls! That's surprise. Not really surprising, actually.
Yeah.
So yeah, but after I regained my footing and didn't slip again, I'm pretty sure you made me roll a second time.
I did.
Yeah. So, but I didn't fall that time. I wanted you to
fall so bad. It would have been fucking beautiful.
But I didn't fall that time, so I had throwing hammers. Like, because I didn't
feel... Oh, yeah, you had the hammers, and I think I made the joke at one point. I was like, yeah, don't worry. If you need a nail put in at a distance, he's got you.
Yeah, but surprisingly, I was really good with them. Like, the very first time I threw it, I, like, bashed the goblin almost one shot kind of thing. Like, it just smashed him right in the face.
Oh, yeah, because you got a critical on that one, didn't... Or no, I forgot we put up against low goblins.
Yeah.
But still, you almost just took a goblin's head off.
Yeah, and I had 2 of them, and then, like, I threw another one. It glanced that next one, but it didn't, really kill him. But I had a sword, obviously, like a dagger at most. But it was a sword to me.
Short sword.
I think I had a shield as well, like a little shield. It's probably like a buckler.
A buckler is a full kite shield.
Yeah,
no.
It was like actually a full body shield. It's like
yeah, right.
Ting. But I had one of them. We fight off the goblins kind of thing, and the guy that's there, like welcome, like thanks us, offers to let us stay for the night, kind of thing. And my guy rolled really high charisma, which is something that I get a lot in my characters. I don't know why
you just roll the studliest like characters ever. You're like, damn it! I rolled like a 12 on my strength. I'm like, 12's pretty good. He's like, I got like an 18 on my charisma or 17 on my charisma or something like that. And I'm like, whoa, okay.
Yeah, so like
Jesus,
very persuasive and good looking. But
yeah,
so Zach's character was a female, and mine was a male. So, like, Zach started having to roll his charisma against my character. Very first roll.
Whenever you did a charismatic act in front of me, I made my character roll. We play D&D very differently from other people when it's just me and him. Because one of us DMs, actually any role playing game, because we play Warhammer, which we may talk about later. For this, I was DMing, but I was also playing a character, and we're both very good at like separating what us as the DM knows and us as like our characters and what they know. But like every time you did like a charismatic act in front of me,
I think I know what the action was too. So
every time you did I had to roll to be like, oh, my character kind of is interested in you then.
So you had to make sure, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think the one that pushed it over is because I had to clean myself up kind of thing. So, like, I took off my clothes.
You took off your armor, and I'm like, I'm going to need to make a check.
You rolled.
And I rolled, and I was like, oh, shit.
I think you were really close to critically failing.
Yeah.
The roll. So, like, all of a sudden Moira was in love with Fredo Fry.
I think I kind of remember it because we were in the barn at the time. That was because that's where the goblins, were pouring out of, basically, and that's why we were in that little field that's out in front of the barn. And we were in the barn or something like that, and you were gonna wash your armor off, and you were taking it off, and started washing it, and Moira just kind of like turned and looked, and I was like,
oh, balls.
Let me just roll.
And basically critically fail.
Yeah. I think I rolled like a 2 or a 3 or something, and I was like, Jesus Christ.
Well, I think
after that, literally, she was up your ass for the rest of our play testing?
Other than whenever like I was by myself, she was actually more of a bashful character, I believe. Like she was kind of like kind of like reserved kind of thing, like trying not to.
Oh my god.
Kind of thing, but like I tried to play my character like he was oblivious to it.
Yeah.
So
which made it worse because it was like anime trope going on. I was like, it's like no, notice me, senpai.
Yeah, and I'm just like, what?
Oh my god.
It was pretty great.
That's the worst.
I'm trying to remember, because I remember one thing. This is like skipping ahead a bit into the story because it wasn't much of a story. It was kind of just
the quote unquote story.
It started to turn into a story that I was like interested in, but like it was kind of like, it was easy to drop, so we did.
Yeah.
But one of them was like we were in the barn because the owner said that he heard noises there. It was like the next day or something after, because I think he allowed us to sleep in the house after saving.
Yeah.
His
but
fields.
he specifically said you need to clean your shit off.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You're not.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
That's why I was taking off my clothes in front of Moira. But so like he hears noises, so he wants us to check it out. Like a couple goblins were living
in like a haystack.
In like basically. A haystack spot. But like one thing was that like Moira suggested like she goes first because she's a little more stealthy, and I was like, I'm not letting you go first, kind of by yourself, and you're like, you're just making the situation worse. Kind of thing.
Yeah. I actually, now that you say that or whatever, I remember that because like I was gonna go first, and because they were sleeping, at the time, they were up in the Haymau area. You basically get a free attack. You just have to roll damage. At least in 2nd edition, it's not exactly that way in 5th anymore. They changed it up.
Brutal.
5th is fucking rough, man. It gets worse too, so don't even worry. Yeah. If we ever pick that one back up, ever. I have a couple done already, and a couple just sitting there waiting for if you're ever like let's play again.
I'll be the character.
Okay.
I like the character I made, but 5th edition's just so mean.
It is.
That's why I'm like, ruthless. I don't want him to die. So
if I don't play, he doesn't die.
He's just stuck forever.
Yeah, he's stuck in an infinite loop of living every day today, not doing a single thing. It's so sad. But in 2nd edition, if an opponent is unconscious or asleep or whatever, incapacitated, I should say, you can get a free action on them, which could be an attack, and that's what we were gonna do. But you're like, I'm not letting you go first. I'll just in case I'll take the brunt. And I was like, oh my god, he is going to have Moira Lovins all over him. Jesus Christ.
But eventually you convinced me to let you do it, but I said, then I said something like, I'll be, right here.
I'll be right here.
Yeah.
You need to run back here.
And then it was just like another thing that just...
It was like
put another pin or like another notch in the Love Freud kind of thing. I think that was freaking hilarious.
Yeah. Basically, like, all that happened, I think we took out the goblins.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I think you managed to sneak around.
By the end of it, I literally had Moira going like, Freud, I love you. Freud, I love you. Just like, all the time.
The only other thing I really remember from the story is that like I went to town.
The scenario.
Yeah, I went to town and we went to the blacksmith and shut up. We needed like you needed a name. Just gonna
keep talking over that way. You wouldn't be caught up.
Yeah, nope.
No.
Where's the you need a name? So I quickly was like Garuk. So you're like, Garuk the blacksmith.
Garuk the blacksmith. For those of you that don't know, Garuk is a planeswalker in Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, and at the
time was a badass, so him being a blacksmith makes sense. But now he's like, man, I don't like any of you. I'm gonna kill you guys. You guys suck, man. So yeah.
But so Garuk was that, and then I like ended up getting like my hammer upgraded because it was like serving me well.
You got a fucking amazing roll on that as well. When he was like, yeah, I can reforge this thing for you, and you're like, sweet, that'd be fucking
I think
rad.
I got like +2 or +3 damage.
Yeah, I think you got like a +2 on it, and I was just like,
I give up.
Why am I here? Why?
Yeah.
I don't even need to help.
So that was pretty cool, and then like some like demon-y shrouded character was outside the blacksmith kind of thing. And it confused the crap out of me. I was like, what is going on? Because
I don't think we ever answered that either.
No, we didn't.
I remember that though.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna tell you. Just get. Well, we're not ever gonna go back to it. The character was.
Because I remember that there was a castle on there's like a gate that we shouldn't go past kind of thing.
Yes. It was basically they wanted it. I don't remember what the fucking name was, but they wanted us to infiltrate the castle, whether that be by normal means or not, because there was gonna be a powerful magical item in there called an artifact, and I think I've told you this. Artifacts are typically really bad, but in the right hands, they can be very destructive for the time that they're used, but they normally corrupt you. Well, if a demon would have gotten a hold of it, it would have been all bad. But, of course, the demon would have portrayed themselves more as a hero or basically deceived you. So you would have had to make a lot of rolls on that, but if you failed them, you would have gotten...
I think...
a shitty thing.
I think like something about like that that interaction started like putting me against Urzo. That was like the name of the dude, and that might be why Fed's taking off, or maybe he's dead. I don't know. Fed is dead. But like because I remember being up in the top like of the house, like right here, kind of thing, like trying to listen in on their conversations because I was like, what are they plotting? Kind of thing, and then like eventually like I ended up having to be like I got confronted by Urzo and he believed my just non-believable story about the demon thing, even though that's what happened, and he's like, I totally believe you. So
right, well, I mean, because you got to think of like a lot of NPCs as like very kind of like characters that don't know much. So
plus I'm charismatic.
Well, that too. But I'm saying, like, for someone to believe a tale of, like, I was confronted by, or I saw a demon dude kind of thing, a lot of characters would be like, oh, sure you did. Yep, demons, ooh.
Yeah.
Because in any role-playing game that deals with, like, roles and actual role-playing and stuff like that, crazy... insane events that happen to those characters, but there's literally hundreds of other NPCs or characters, I should say. Just think of it like that. Like this one or these 5 characters have this thing happen to them, but for every 5 characters that happens, there's hundreds of other characters in the game that are never interact with that same thing. So they go throughout their daily lives as basically nothing's going on. They're going out throughout like normal everyday shit. Meanwhile, you're trying to find a secret hidden cult. Yeah, that's trying to kill everyone.
Yeah, I didn't know about like the cult or anything like that from like at the time kind of thing, but it was basically like some random mysterious rogue figure.
This may spoil a lot of things for any future role playing games you play with me. I love doing cult stuff, just because it's so good. I figured, and it's not always like a cult, like we worship a weird god thing. That's actually
think about where the last place my D&D 5e character was at, Sanctus. He was in like this town of cultists.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm not surprised.
And the town of cultists were.
I don't know much about it.
They were
like
called.
Basically, I was at like the cathedral trying to get that one lady's
the one lady's
I can't remember her name. Her kid. We were trying to get her son back.
Oh yeah. So yeah, like I like doing stuff like that, but it's not like I said, it's not like cults like you worship a crazy god demon thing or crazy god.
Even if it's just like an organization.
Yeah, it's just like a secret organization. I love that just because it's so you can do so many cool things with it. And that's what I always love about them. So yeah, you'll probably notice that a lot in a lot of the ones that I do, just because they're. I don't know. Again, I find them very interesting, but at the same time, I can see how it could get like really repetitive after a while.
I haven't felt that before because I just like role playing. So
it's fun. It's fun to not be yourself for some hours.
Because we suck.
Yes, that is accurate.
Words of wisdom from Suckage 1 and then Suckage 2.
Prime.
I don't know. I wouldn't give you Prime.
Okay. Well,
that just sounds way too cool for you.
Suckage Prime. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
No, it's more like just the Prime because Prime's kind of a cool little word.
Prime, yeah.
So that's why I was like,
I guess a lot of people like would associate with like Optimus Prime.
I'm not a huge Transformers guy, but
thank God.
Autobots roll out.
Yeah,
Transformers. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of like the story behind Fred O'Brien and Moira Brown to a degree. There's some other stuff in there and like just little like dialogue bits and stuff like that, but well, crap, I'm gonna remember all those.
Right? Yeah. This was like.
It's amazing that I even remembered.
Probably 2 years ago.
Probably
something along those lines.
Because I think it was like after we kind of hit a stalemate with Tristan and Still. You kind of like we were wanting to branch out a little bit more. So maybe started like a new D&D 2E series or something.
And then the next D&D we played was 5th edition.
No, it was Ravenloft, and then
Ravenloft. Sorry. Well, that's.
But we played it for like
still.
1 or 2. Oh, is it?
Yeah. It's second or third. Shit. What's
I think
Ravenloft
it's third.
part of?
I think it's third actually. I think I remember you.
I think it is because I had to learn a whole new system. Well, not a whole new system,
but you had to
learn
like
a couple things that they changed.
I remember sending you a cheat sheet, like Notepad and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Of it, so that you wouldn't have to look.
We played Ravenloft, and we tried to play that with
two other people.
The other two.
They kept playing video games during it, and I was getting annoyed.
Yeah. Well, I kind of was too, but like I can understand like checking like Twitter and stuff like that. Like that's what I do sometimes.
I was back and forth between Twitter depending on what was going on.
Yeah, but like when they're like blatantly playing a game while you're trying to play this game, and they're the ones that wanted to try it, I would just like to point out.
Yeah.
I was like, oh sure, because we tried to do it before.
Yeah, then it just didn't.
Everyone blames me for it though because they're like you just left. You were the DM. You just left. I'm like, I literally gave you guys all the time that you needed to make your characters.
Weren't they annoyed because we were playing D&D because it was like one of the times it was like 3 months afterwards and like Pinky and Reed or something. I think Pinky said something like he's like, so is this D&D thing ever gonna happen? And I think you replied like, me and also been playing D&D, you know, catch up or something like that.
Yeah, something along those lines. But they got a little like, what the fuck? You were supposed to tell us what to do. I was like, okay, I literally told you what to do before I had to leave because life shit was happening.
Yeah.
So, fucking, you had a bunch of time. Plus, Austin has played hours upon hours of sessions with me. He probably knows exactly what the fuck to do. And if he doesn't, you guys could literally just go, hey, by the way, could you help me with this? Send me a tweet. I go, no, none of that happened. They just blame me to this day. It's
still not, it isn't brought up constantly though, right? It's not.
No.
Okay, no. Good. I was like, that isn't gonna be.
No, if it was brought up constantly, we would start having some issues.
Yeah, they're like, remember 2 years ago when you didn't play D&D with us, you piece of crap.
Yeah, well, then we tried to fucking do it again with Ravenloft, which Ravenloft, I'd like to point out, is like the land of vampires, werewolves, and zombies. It's one of the coolest places there is in D&D, I think, at least. It
was a pretty cool setting.
The problem is, every time you guys made a stupid navigation roll, it was like, fail. So I'm like, you cannot. Okay, whatever, fuck it. I was like, this whole, we were in a swamp for 2 sessions. It's like, yes, well, the fucking swamp is huge, and every time you made a navigation roll, you failed. So I just gave it to you after a while.
Did I complain about this? I mean, I know that I joked.
Plus, there was other things that were happening in the swamp that literally no one picked up on, and I was like, that's fine.
I was hearing things like that, like the fog or whatever would come in. I was just like, what the balls is going on? Exactly. I was trying to figure it out.
They were like, okay, it's fog. It's like, sure, take it as a fog. That's it. That's all it is. There's nothing mysterious about a fog just coming in and then immediately dissipating after about 5 minutes.
But this is like, I'm still pretty noobish to role playing. That was like before.
Well, at that time, kind of.
I was even more of a noob to role playing back then, kind of thing. So I was like, what is going on, kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, at least you were questioning things, and like when we got to civilization and when we got to things. Mm-hmm. Literally, they were like, okay, where do we go? It's like, don't ask me. I'm the DM. I know what's going to happen.
I remember when we got there, like we first met, like we were in like a swamp, and there was like a building there, and it had that that one dude that was like
the crazy guy.
Yeah, the crazy guy that they ended up killing. I tried to stop him, and then like once Pinky joined in to get rid of him, I'm like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm done.
You even were like, whoa, I don't think we should. And they're just like, nope, we're killing him. It's like
because Reed was like, I want to throw him off the side of the boat. I'm like, and then like whenever he went to do it, my guy stopped him, and then like Pinky decided to join. I'm like, all right, you guys want to kill him?
Yeah,
I'm not gonna get into a scuffle on a boat.
And then it was like, okay, off. I did love Reed's character though.
He was funny
because that was the funniest.
He was a random as crap.
He was okay. Well, I think. I think we portrayed him wrong. I think he was a much elder man that was a mystic.
Yeah,
and
he did not portray a mystic very well, though.
No, he portrayed a mystic.
I thought a mystic was kind of like a pacifism kind of guy.
They are. He
wanted to kill everybody
as like a nature loving side of it. Instead.
Okay, so he didn't like humans.
So like, yeah, I guess,
or basically other life forms other than like animals. Not so much animals because humans are animals.
I almost said bullywug just because it's a frog type.
Yeah, I hate bullywugs. That was
well, that's because there's like a billion of them, and that's why.
That sucked.
They're like the goblins of the swamp.
Yeah,
it's gross.
But I thought it was hilarious.
The one frog. I cannot remember how big those like what they were called, but I remember how big they were.
Oh yeah, those huge things.
Killed them. They have toxic glands.
Yeah.
What does Reed do? He opens its mouth and climbs inside.
What he does.
And then Pinky takes a rope, ties its mouth shut, and puts it on the boat.
I believe, at least this is the way I remember. You could be right, but like I remember, like we got up to the island. There's these 3 frogs.
Yeah, there was 3 frogs.
And like we were like me and Pinky were kind of like getting kind of like because we pulled up to the side of the island because it was like the first land we've seen in a while, like actual land bit.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, we're gonna actually camp here. We might have to kill some frogs.
Right.
So like I got my shield up. Pinky got his shield up, and like they lashed down. They were trying to pull us out of the boat, and like we had to cut the freaking things. Like I didn't get to cut mine because they lashed onto Reed, and I had to cut that one's tongue so that he wouldn't get like just eaten by a frog. So like Pinky ended up cutting like the one that was on me because like I had to cut freaking Reed so he wouldn't go
right
into a frog's mouth, which he ends up going into later of his own accord.
It was so fucking. But it was so insane.
In the middle of the battle is what frog like after we killed the first frog, Reed asked if he could grab it and bring it into the boat while me and Pinky were battling frogs.
Yeah. I was like, oh yes, I mean you can, yeah. And so he was dragging it into the boat, and I'm like, okay.
I think that he actually needed help, and I think that's where Pinky.
Well, he pulled it over to the boat, but he couldn't get it.
Yeah, so like I think either Pinky or me helped him. Yeah. I can't remember. I might have actually helped him that one.
Someone helped him get the frog in the boat, the dead frog in the boat
with noxious gas, with poisonous
glands, and then
the tying happened later.
Because. Like, Reed was in it for a minute. He was in there not like 1 minute, but he was in there for a while.
I think like we camped out there,
and he used it as like a sleeping bag.
He slept inside of it. Like I don't think he went completely in it, but he was just kind of like, it's the warmth of nature.
The warmth of nature.
But like after we left the island, we ran into like that gypsy family, and like. The very first thing that happens with this interaction with these people is Reed grabs the frog, kind of lifts it up a little bit, and he's like, "Do you want to see my frog?"
Yeah, to
the little kid. So that's whenever I put him in the frog, and then Pinky tied him up
because he was trying to lure a little kid into this frog. Oh my god, my
original thought was just like, okay, Reed, bedtime.
That's what I loved about his character. I was like,
just so
what the fuck are you doing?
And then like after the gypsy family, the whole like a warning kind of thing, Reed was dancing naked in the middle of the swamp.
Yeah, because of the toxins in
he got out of his frog.
Yeah. Because he was kind of like decayed at this point because you guys you guys had him in there for a while.
Yeah, and it's like humid and nasty.
Yeah, and it's it was like literally if something dies, it has about 5 hours to just be like, okay, now it's getting a little stanky and gross. And I think that's what I started doing. I was like, the frog is, starting to stink up, and you guys were like, oh yeah, Reed, and then you opened his mouth or whatever. No, he got out somehow. Like
I think he might have cut his way out or something like that because he was hot.
What he did, he messaged me.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember you telling me something about him.
He messaged me on Steam because this is how we were like talking. We were in the Steam group or whatever together, and he messaged me like on my own thing or whatever, and he's like, "Hey, can I climb out the frog's ass?" And I'm like. I'm like, do you have a sharp object? He's like, I have a knife. And I'm like,
go for it.
I'm like, make a roll. I'm like, make a roll. Do /GM roll or whatever. And then he passed. And I'm like,
out the butthole.
I'm like, and no one noticed. Well,
he was still towards the boat, like a good 30 feet back. And me and Pinky were at the fire with the gypsy family trying to talk over what happened with the.
He gets out, and then they're like, the gypsy family's like, what the fuck?
Well, they went to bed, and then then I was like, I should probably go check on Reed.
And
I go check, and the freaking frog's deflated. And then I'm like, and because I was a human, and of course it had to be the one time I picked human in a very dark setting, so it sucked for me.
Yeah.
I was like,
and you just heard splashing, and
I had to go get.
You're like, Pinky, what the hell is going on?
Like, could you use your freaking elf vision and tell me what's going on?
And then he looked out, and then he's like, Zach, what do I see? And I'm like, you see Reed dancing naked in the swamp water.
Yeah, I think that I actually had to go out there and bring him back to shore.
Yeah,
so that he wouldn't get eaten by like a crocodile. Because
he was like, well, I wanna escape and take the boat, and I'm like, no.
This is what's gonna happen. Wow, that little chump.
He just wanted to move the boat. I don't think he wanted to take it. I was like, if he did, I mean, you guys would have been fucked.
We would have been. I would have been with like a disappearing gypsy family.
Yeah. So
I also freaking remember another thing though. It's freaking great.
So I was like, no, don't worry, I got you or whatever, and he was like, oh, okay, and then I was like, yeah, you see him. That was my volition of like, this is what he's doing.
Yeah.
And then it was like, what the fuck? He's dancing out there naked, holding his staff up like, woo, yeah, kind of thing, and just going on it.
I think I don't think I actually had to physically drag him back. Reed was able to make the decision at that point, and I was just like, let's go, because it was like waist deep kind of thing. Because backstory to that, I didn't want him getting eaten by a crocodile because I had to save Pinky.
Which I was gonna say, which happened earlier.
Yeah, basically, I think Reed fell into the water, and then he started a crocodile was.
Well, it was coming up to him, and he was like, he was so okay with getting eaten by the crocodile. I was like,
ridiculous.
I was like, oh. Okay, sure. I mean, I guess you're weird. He's like animal-loving mystic too.
Yeah, he's like, I'm feeding. Yeah,
I'm like feeding it, kind of thing. I was like, my god.
But what happened was, it's the crocodile's dragging him off.
Yeah.
So, Pinky managed to lasso the crocodile,
so it would go under.
And then I think we tied it off to a tree so he couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
So
you guys,
and then
he did well enough on the throw. I think I made it go around his head. It went under his jaw. But then when he started turning, it pulled back and it kind of went around farther down his neck. Yeah. And then Pinky was whoop, and tightened it around its neck.
Well, and then I think the tightening ended up being whenever he hit the bump. Whenever he realized that he was tied to a tree, because me and Pinky quickly tied it to a tree.
You guys got it around his neck tight enough. Not specifications don't fucking matter, but you guys got it tight enough around his neck at first that he probably wasn't going to get away without serious thrashing around.
Yeah.
And then he realized he was tied to a tree, and then of course he didn't actually realize it, but he was just I can't. Whoa.
Yeah. So I think that we pulled the boat up next to him, and we start trying to get I start stabbing at it. And I think Reed was fighting us, trying to keep him. Yeah. And then what he did is he cast sleep on Pinky. Put Pinky to sleep. So Pinky passes out in the boat.
He's like, can I cast sleep? And I'm like, well, your only targets are
Austin and Pinky,
because this thing is not within the spell's effect or something. I don't remember what there was a stipulation somehow that he couldn't cast it on.
Maybe he could, but he wasn't. He didn't want to.
Well, no. There was. Maybe it was. And I'm like, I mean, I guess you could roll it for the crocodile. And he's like, He's like, no, I'm gonna cast it on
Pinky.
On Pinky, and I'm like, oh.
I'm like, what the crap? And I'm like, I'm gonna be by myself here trying to freaking fend off the freaking thing.
And then he casts Sleep on Pinky, which he did succeed on.
Yeah, so Pinky passes out in the boat. And I killed the crocodile and pulled Reed back onto the freaking thing.
And the thing with Sleep, if you do not know, Sleep doesn't end on for X amount of hours, and it matters on God, what it matters on like something with the mage itself. I think it's like it's level. So it's like hours times X, and then that like you can determine how long the duration can be, or if something it damages it. But the thing is like a punch or a slap doesn't
it doesn't drop you.
Doesn't damage per se. It's
kind of like is it like the Warhammer's toughness
well
thing?
It does, but it's in such little increments that I was just like, if you slap him hard enough, he'll wake up.
Basically, like I like tended to any wounds there because I was a chump. Like I had healing because I was a gladiator, so like I was
you had the mending.
Yeah, I had mending and stuff like that because I had to like fend for myself. So I had to. So like I tended freaking Reed's crocodile bite, and then like probably like Pinky's head.
Also, when
falling.
like looking back at it now, you weren't so much as a gladiator as you were a pit fighter.
Yeah, I was
because a gladiator is a slave, while a pit fighter would be more of like a fighter for money kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like you fought on your own.
Yeah, I was the gladiator class, but I was more of a pit fighter.
Yeah,
that is a accurate thing. So like I tended freaking Pinky's head wound and his crocodile bite. Then I just went.
Yeah, then you just slapped him, and he was like, "How would I react to this?" And I'm like you were just fighting a crocodile, and then everything went black. Yeah, so I think he like stood up and like had his weapon out, but then he realized...
I think we were almost getting ready to go into like a fight. We'd probably tumble over the freaking thing. Because I remember one of the things also is that we were both fishing, and I hooked his hook, and I like started pulling him into the water because I was just strong enough.
You guys had some shitty rolls during this whole thing, and it was all beautiful.
It was pretty funny, but so we eventually get to the town after killing the guy. After they throw him out into the freaking
I don't remember
water.
his name, but
I don't remember his name either. But the mayor,
you keep talking.
The mayor.
Sorry for your clicking, by the way.
Yeah,
you're gonna hear it.
The mayor of the civilization kind of thing. Like I think he like asked if we've seen his brother, and it was the guy that they just killed. And I'm like, see what happens, guys.
And I believe that they actually came up with a decent enough lie that it worked.
Reed basically just said this. He's like, yeah, but we left him in his home. That's basically like what ended up being said. I believe that's what it was. There you go.
God damn it, kids.
Well, we didn't take very many notes, and I think I had notes of my own personal notes. On Notepad or something.
I need to find this shit, or maybe my laptop. Actually,
so after
we'll try. So keep talking. I'm being very professional.
Oh balls. So how you guys doing?
God damn it! Is it really all you got? Hey, you come here often?
Yeah, baby. You wanna go somewhere?
Just stealing this laptop. Stealing it. Go. I'm gonna log into my own account.
I figured
that way we have the DM and the player's experience.
But so we get to the town, and the guy obviously he's like, my brother, I normally bring him food, kind of thing. He's like, he lives in by himself inside the thing, and I basically was just like, see what happens, Pink. You freaking killed his brother. Right. And then Reed was like, yeah, we ran into his house, but we left him in his house. But I actually know what it was is that Pinky said. Reed said this. He's like, yeah, we threw him over the boat, kind of thing. And then I had to come up with a lie.
Oh yeah, because he was like we threw him over the boat, and I'm like, okay.
And I can't remember exactly what it was.
I'm like, he kind of took it as a serious thing.
Yeah.
But then you said you or Pinky, I think it was you.
I think I did all the
role playing. You said something. Right. You said something about, you're like, no, we left him at the house or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like we passed by him, and it's like, don't listen to him. He's been sniffing.
Yeah, I think that's actually what I said. I think he was sniffing some dead frog fumes back there. You know? You know, don't worry about it. And I think he ended up believing that.
Yeah.
So it was that was I was like, you piece of crap.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Then I remember like freaking Reed walked into some dude's house and he was screaming at him in Elvish.
Yeah, well,
because Reed literally walked in.
I was like, oh well, what do you know? Because he's like the door on my left. I'm like, well, okay.
Like, he found the mayor guy. He was following the mayor guy, and like while me and Pinky were gonna go do something, but then I'm like, I need to make sure he doesn't get into trouble. So like I followed him. Reed was sleuthing behind the guy while I was just kind of standing up against the side of the building, like as Reed was like peering over the corner, and I was just like leaning up against the building, and like he was watching the guy like buy some bread, I think, and then he goes into some dude's house. So like after like I think Reed. Like, yeah, I'm not going to do, you can go do something because me and Pinky wanted to go investigate something. Then Reed goes to the porch and the guy starts looking through the windows, trying to see what's going on because he doesn't trust the mayor. Then he just up and walks in. Then the guy's, like, yelling at him in Elvish, and then, like, what he does is he closes the door, he knocks and then opens it up.
Yeah. Reed made a pretty fun character on there, I think.
But I think, other than, like, him getting stuffed in a frog, and him going, want to see my frog to the little kids. My favorite part was whenever we went to bed in the tavern.
Went to bed, bumped your head. Couldn't get up in the morning.
I got up first. I woke up Pinky and Reed because I was, the first one up. Mm-hmm. And Reed stayed there while me and Pinky went off and did something productive-ish.
Banged.
Yeah, we banged. Oh, it was a good bang. But
it was a good bang.
Not the best, but maybe would bang again. It kind of depends on the day.
10 to 10 would bang again.
But what he does is he goes down to the bartender area and like the waitress is there and stuff like that. The waitress eventually goes missing. Turns out, but
Lennox is Reed's character, by the way.
Oh, Lennox is. I know mine was Lazarus. That was my character's name.
He's a mystic. He was an elf, and he is neutral evil. Because was originally a mystic, you can be neutral anything.
He was originally like good whenever he was like neutral good, but then like because of his decisions, you changed him to neutral evil because his alignment was changing, kind of thing. Because originally he wasn't like whenever you guys made his character, he wasn't like an evil person, but like the more he played it, you changed his alignment.
The more fucking insane it got.
But he goes down there, talks to the waitress and the bartender a little bit. Then he goes back up to his room because we still had it kind of rented, and then he jumps out the window to go back in through the front door so that he could just be like, what's going on, kind of thing, like, I'm new here. And so, like, they're just looking at him like, how did he do that, kind of thing. So he goes back up, jumps out the window again, and scares the waitress who's out back because she goes out back. And then he's like, hi.
He literally made the weirdest character possible.
It was pretty great, though.
And I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of other people out there with much different, like weirder characters. But that is the weirdest character I've ever DM'd for.
That was his first character as well.
I know, so, and I love it.
It was great.
I want him to do it again.
I'm trying to remember. I also remember that he ended up tying up a priest in the graveyard.
Any more of your guys' stuff, which is sad.
You remember that?
Luke was the dude that you guys killed.
I didn't kill him.
You guys as a group.
Bull crap. Every single time you tried to group us up into that, I'm like, no, I did nothing to the guy.
I didn't do anything. I want to look at my notes, see if I do have GM notes. Don't look at my GM notes, damn it.
Like we're gonna go back to this.
We could.
Bull crap.
Let me send a tweet quick. Whatever. That literally didn't.
But
you could have read that.
You remember that Reed tied up a priest in the graveyard?
Because you guys went to the
we went to the graveyard at night to investigate. Me and Pinky ended up battling some Zamble ghoul things, and we killed them. But during that time, Reed was back at what are they called? Those they're the
crypts.
They're like crypts, but they're called something else. It starts with an M.
Monastery.
It's not. I don't think it's a monastery because that doesn't that sounds like something else. Mausoleum.
Mausoleum. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Reed wanted to investigate because because he's like, there's something here. He's like looking for switches and stuff, and he couldn't find it. And then like a figure shows up, so like Reed and him get into like a little tussle, and he like knocks him out and ties up. And then it turns out to be like a priest.
Yep. The priest that was at the town.
Yeah. And like
literally like an hour ago.
Yeah.
That I think one of you saw. And he was walking away, and like Reed didn't put it. Well, I guess Reed may not have known it at the time, but like he was leaving in the morning for the event where they brought in that casket or whatever that was chained and everything, and everyone was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, that's why we went. That's why we went to the graveyard.
Yeah, that's why you guys went later though.
Yeah,
and he was back for whatever reason.
And they got into a tussle because he detected evil in Reed. Yeah. That's what it was.
Yep. And I'm glad. I don't know if I ever said that to anyone but you. Maybe I did. I don't know.
Because I think that the priest struck first. Like he bomped him on the head with his staff. And then that's whenever Reed and him got into like an old man tussle.
Where they basically were like, "Hey, king!" with their canes and they just couldn't.
And then obviously eventually Reed won, and then I'm like untie the priest kind of thing. Like once even though Reed was like, no, he's bad.
He's bad. And
I'm like, untie the freaking priest. And then I eventually just went on the ropes, and he's like, I'm like, so why did you freaking hit that guy, Lennox?
No, Lennox is it was Reed's character.
Yeah, why did you hit Lennox? I was asking the priest.
The priest. Oh yeah.
Like, why'd you hit Lennox? He's like, well, I detected evil, and I sensed evil in that in Lennox, and I'm like. Yeah, and then I was pretty much like, okay, that's all you need to tell me because I understood it.
Okay, I understand now.
Yeah, so that was freaking great.
It's so good. That was probably one of the more like straight fun ones that we've done.
Yeah, like in between the downtime of them playing like video games and like trying to get them to role play, like that was like the best parts.
Yeah,
it was just freaking.
It was really fun though. I liked like all of it, really. But like I will say the times that they would like zone out and play like
I think they were playing Counter-Strike.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
Yeah, so like I was basically just kind of sitting there like waiting for them to answer, and then eventually I was just like, so maybe we'll just do this because a lot like I think towards the end it was pretty much like, what does Austin want to do?
Yeah.
So I was like, we'll do this.
Right, and then I think we brought that up at one point on the thing, but we're not going to get into all that because that's not worried about role-playing stuff.
Yeah.
So.
I still love the randomness that was there though, because I didn't expect it kind of thing, which was the best part about it because I didn't expect Reed to just be like, is there like because I think what he asked you is he went back up to the room after like basically being really weird to the maid and bartender or the waitress. He's like, he looks out the window. He's like, "Is there anything soft below it?" And you're like, "There's a bush." He's like, "Okay, I jump out the window." And I'm like,
jump out the window. Like, also, this is just gonna slowly turn into like a GM talk, just because I keep thinking about these things. I've learned over like the time of me playing like D&D and stuff like that. That there's a lot of times you just need to let the players do what they want to do in those scenarios where it's like he's like, I'll jump through a window. I didn't want to be that guy and be like, you gotta make a roll for it, because I mean, as long as it's not like a barred window or and, like if there's nothing restrictive and nothing's really gonna be gained or maybe some brain cells lost. Like other than that,
if it does nothing like at all
if it's purely aesthetic and will just be weird, then normally I just let it happen, and I'm like, okay, you jump out the window, you fall into this bush, but then you kind of roll out into the dirt behind,
and then
like,
that's
the dirt
where he's just
paths.
like, I go back into the bar.
Yeah, he goes through the front.
I think he sat down at a table and just waited for someone to serve him, and then like whenever someone looked, and they're like. They kind of like gave a double take, and then the waitress like was like, "What's your order?" He's like, "Yeah, it's fine." And then he went upstairs.
I will say this: looking back on it, making you guys make like the navigation checks and stuff like that, and being like, does anyone have the navigation skill? Even though I knew no one had it, making you roll those was kind of slowing the game down, yes. But the thing is, there was a lot of things out in the swamp that were missed, and that's fine. You don't. That's the good thing about it. You don't need everything in the game to
because it was like because we didn't
it.
have like any kind of navigation kind of thing. It was a really really dense swamp, so we couldn't even really see the direction of the sun. We had like nothing we could go on. We were just like,
let's
go this direction.
This direction.
So
yeah, like that's kind of what happened with that. And really, I should have just kind of like made events go on, not like
the crocodile
was successful. Then no, but if it was
crocodile was certainly an event, though.
Yeah, that was like an hour-long thing.
I remember that Reed also in the town put Pinky to sleep again.
Weren't you guys like walking somewhere?
I can't remember what it was. I think that like I'm trying to remember what it was because
like effects against another player as well. Those are another thing you like have to roll for.
Yeah, and
or else the game becomes very unfair.
Yeah,
because then like why
like Reed Reed had to roll to put him to sleep, and then Pinky had to roll resistance
to resist the magic.
So
and he failed, but Reed succeeded, but then Pinky failed, so he was just put to sleep again. But I think that one, like his own like collapsing body, basically when he fell or whatever, that woke him up. So he immediately was like, "Warp."
And then I think Pinky's like, "If you put me to sleep again, I'm killing you."
Yeah,
kind of thing. And I'm just like, well, I'm gonna have like no party members at the end of this, and I'll just be the
hero.
No,
we'd make him roll another one up. That's how.
Oh yeah, that's true. It'd be like,
I won't make
this guy.
Well, I don't want to sound like a douchebag that's making them making them play, but like, I would be like, well, if you want to not play anymore, then that's fine. I understand. I think everyone else would understand as well. But if you want to roll up another character,
you can
go for it. I'll incorporate it in. Like, oh, you guys walk into the bar or the tavern there to kind of get to the local gossip, and some weird dwarf dude walks up to you and he starts talking to you and
hey, you want some help?
Yeah, and then that's Austin's character.
Yeah.
Austin's new character after I kill it or something.
Yeah. I haven't had a character die on me yet, but holy crap.
It was close.
It was close. And it was one of the ones I put most of the work into. It really,
I know.
Because I put too much work into my characters.
You put way too much work in the backstory because then it's a lot of times you leave some things open, but at the same time, like how I've been learning to build a character, like a character's background, is like, okay, so you maybe have this person that you can contact or something like this. Like, who is that person? And then that's where you start kind of like, oh, this person is this and they can do this, and it's in the GM or whoever it is can be like, okay, so this person maybe does this and this for you, and you owe him a couple favors, or he owes you a couple favors or whatever, like, and kind of build it up like that. That way, I don't know. I feel like if you put way too much work into it, and then the character is either not as good as you thought, or...
Well, I rolled pretty decently with Sanctus.
Yeah. But I'm saying, like, just character-wise, there's just, like, not a whole, like... Well, I don't want to say there's not a whole lot, but, like, there's a couple things that, like, differently you could do and make a character fucking spontaneous, or absolutely ruin them and you not have a whole lot of fun playing them.
Part of the reason why I had to go with a bit of difference is because we did the freaking like rolled traits kind of thing for the character, so I had to try to do stuff with that.
Which is why I was like, don't worry about your backstory as much or anything like that, because like backstory is nice, getting like an idea of where your character came from and like what their determinations are. That's totally fine. But like, I'm harping on you now.
I know you are.
The way you do it is like every detail must be explained, and then there's got to be some things that can't be explained. That a way either I could fuck with it or you could bring it up later in a way. But like, I don't know. To me anymore, that feels like it kind of takes a bit away from it. That a way you're not like growing as a character. You're more like focusing on your backstory versus your character at the time and in the future.
Majority of the time, I like to have a solid backstory so that like I don't have to worry.
So you don't have to do that.
Well, no, so that I don't have to worry about it as much, but it's more like so that I can, because I have a solid backstory now. That means I can focus on what I'm going to do in the future.
What's the point of worry? Like, what do you mean by I don't have to worry about it?
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to remember Sanctus's backstory a decentish amount. To me, it feels kind of weird if I don't. Not so much like I don't need to have a super hyper one. I just end up writing one.
Yeah.
But
well, because you have a lot of ideas that you want to put down for a character, but like maybe instead bring those to a present version of Sanctus, not all in his past. So like, if you're like, oh well, I have this thing that I want to get checked out, like this item or something like that. I want to get checked out. I'm like, okay, well, there's a local thing. You could be like, well, would I have maybe known someone that could have done this? And I'd be like, sure. Or if it's like a fucking like 3 people in the world know how to do this thing, mm-hmm. You could just be like, you know what? Probably not, but you could probably try to find someone if you're like in a big populated area. And then from then on, you would know that character and be able to interact with them. But like small stuff like that I feel like it just helps kind of build the character more than having like a solid like backstory that most of the time won't be touched on all that much. Plus, it doesn't make us have to focus on. It doesn't have to make anyone focus on like your backstory versus the current game. So if you have a thing against because Sanctus was paladin, he would have a thing against demons, typically. Well, in this, you wouldn't have to make anything about your backstory be demons or anything like that. But it's just kind of known that paladins are not so okay with demons. But if you're not wearing your paladin-esque armor where you probably have a sigil on you or something like that, which I think they actually need that to cast spells and shit. But I think you put on a gauntlet or something.
I put it on a glove and I had a necklace. I had a necklace and it was on the palm of my glove. Yeah. Well,
at that point, if you're not wearing those and a tiefling or whatever comes through, that's funny because that's kind of how it was for us. Mm-hmm. You may immediately hate that person or hate that character just because you're a paladin and you're not okay with demons at all. And that wouldn't have to be listed in your backstory. That could just be a thing that at the present time you kind of build on. Okay, so how are, because you're a paladin, how are your feelings on demons? And then it'd be then you'd be like, well, I feel like my character would not be hateful of them. He would be pretty understanding that there are some good, but a lot of them are bad. So it'd be kind of hesitant. Because that's how I kind of see Sanctus a lot of the times with his view on them. So he'd be like, I don't hate all of them until they do something absolutely terrible, because then you know they're not trustworthy. But someone like a cleric would immediately be like, no, they're bad. They're terrible because they go against whatever god that at that point that character is following. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, stuff like that, stupid little small things like that. Just I feel like they would affect the character more if going forward, not as a view from your backstory. Because again, I don't think I put anything in my backstory.
I was just using that as an example. Because I basically just was my character, you put him. I'm I just didn't have anything in my backstory about it. It wasn't I met a friendly tiefling in my backstory.
Woohoo, yeah. But I'm just saying in general though, I couldn't remember half the backstories, actually more than half. I couldn't barely remember any of the backstories that I wrote for any of my characters, just because I try not to focus on them a whole ton. I maybe make a couple like a paragraph or two of this is how my character started out, this is kind of what she's been through or he's been through, and then this is what their future determination is, I guess. Like, because in our 5e, mine's a tiefling, of course. So I was like, making people understand demons better was like kind of my goal, I think.
Your goal was knowledge. You like to learn.
Well, yeah, but like my persistence of like, hey guys, not all demons are absolutely terrible. I'm part demon. Don't kill me.
Yeah.
But yeah, her big thing is like knowledge and learning. Just because her intelligence was fucking high as shit. So yeah. I feel like a lot of people need to kind of get into character and be like, I'm a crazy ass barbarian wielding dual axes with blood painting on my face, but I'll help you out. It's like, no, no, you're probably going to murder everyone in this town, one by one. So yeah, that's why a lot of people play good characters. It's a lot easier to play a good character than a bad character.
It kind of depends on like what your goal is though with the character though. If you want to just kill everybody, you can go for it.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. You would need to kill everyone versus
it.
being a good guy, which is helping people instead of risking your life to kill everyone else.
To me, if I made a bad character, I'd pretty much be like, I'm going to do as much bad as I can before I die. So that we
should try that one of these times.
Me making a bad character?
Yeah, do like a D&D 5e, try to get the idiots to play as well, and be like, okay, here's the thing. You guys are a gang of bad guys. Go be bad.
Yeah. Well, I know that like in our our D20 modern, we were thieves, and like we were just starting off we were below the law. We were stealing things.
Yeah.
We were just starting to kind of thing. So like we have attempted it, we just never went back to it.
Right. I think there was something weird about like the rule system that we found that was kind of strange. I don't know, because we played a lot of D&D stuff, so like we like other than which I'm kind of getting used to now. Like humans are pretty terrible monsters as well as goblins, kind of thing. Like humans are almost worse than goblins, you could say at times.
Yeah.
So like humans as an enemy is not unheard of, and it's not really weird to me anymore. Mm-hmm. It's pretty normal. So being bad guys and shooting cops, being the possible corrupt bad guys or good guys or whatever, they're just in the way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more down for it now. So
yeah,
maybe we could try that again. I think it'd be fun.
I'd have to freaking
we need to get that shit back and reread shit.
Yeah, that took forever.
Yeah. So
I don't think that I don't think that I'll probably end up changing in terms of my backstory, because I pretty much always just write one anyway.
Right.
I tried to make it less of one with Athen, but he still had a pretty.
It's not that bad. It's
majority of the time, like
it's a lot shorter than your other ones. So I mean,
Synthesis
it's a lot easier to work with.
Synthesis was about the same length, but like with Atlas, I could I was able to write his a lot bigger because I was like the GM and stuff like that, and it was just not so much like using the knowledge that I used. I couldn't do something like that, but it like a lot.
But you can kind of direct the story as well, so like
yeah.
you can kind of tell your own character's story.
Because
Atlas which sounds very narcissistic.
Yeah, it does.
But it's not. It's actually very fun because especially if you have like a direction to go in.
Because Atlas has my biggest backstory that I've ever written for a character.
And he's probably your best character still.
Probably. Roles and character-wise. Yeah. But
Skyla's still my favorite, and
Skyla's
I think my best.
Crazy.
Yes. Insane, you could say at some points.
Kind of hard to GM for, but I do my best.
Right.
Never know what will happen next.
That is true.
But like Tristan, he had a decently-ish length backstory.
Yeah,
but
his wasn't like Atlas insane, but it wasn't like short. It was a good length, I think, for like him.
So really, Atlas is the one
because
that
we added stuff to that as we were going.
Yeah, we did.
So,
yeah, we did.
Yeah.
So like, really, Atlas is the only one that I went over the super top kind of thing with. And
that's because we played. Well, I don't want to I don't know, spoil. I almost said spoil. I don't want to go into that because I don't know already. But we played a lot of from the Warhammer one. We played a lot of kind of his backstory. I want to say it's not like we're playing his backstory exactly or anything like that, but we're answering things that were kind of left unanswered in his backstory.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh yeah, that's nice that we're actually getting conclusions onto some of his stuff.
Some stuffs.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Found it very fun.
Plus, I had to write. I didn't write detailed events. It was more like this kind of happened. It was kind of with the thing because my guy was in the Inquisition for a year before you showed up. So I had to kind of be like, okay, he did something a little bit like that.
He did things that were interesting and
that might end up showing up later.
Yeah.
So it wasn't some
of them did.
Yeah, a couple. I think the very first campaign I made for Warhammer ended up with one. Because it was the one with that one dude.
the one.
But
guy.
You know what I'm talking about because that's why I'm saying it like that. So.
It's so good.
But yeah, that's been some roleplay EE stuff.
Yeah. If this becomes a thing, if we see a small, even any significant jump in views versus this to anything else that we've done, or even if this gets up to those ones, we'll probably continue this, but we'll try to do a new topic. We're kind of determining the thing, but I was suggesting a weekly thing, but I don't know if that's a thing. Maybe every other week. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
It kind of depends.
But we'll try to
do if viewers want it, we'll make the effort to do it. But if no one really wants it, we'll just do it whenever we can.
Yeah. And it's it basically is not watched enough to warrant an hour of time that we could be using to record other things.
Yeah.
And we're working on other things, I should say, because we're not always just recording. But if it doesn't work out, then probably not. But if it works, then that'd be awesome, and we'd be able to talk more about other random things.
Yeah. Last piece of advice for you guys, though, in terms of role playing: if you got a big bulky character, kick in a lot of doors.
Every door you see,
it's just fun
because you almost never.
It's just hilarious when it happens.
Just make a giant steel door,
and attempt to kick it in.
That's kickable, and then that's how you practice. You gotta kick that door in.
That's your workout. Your one leg is just massive.
One. Well, the thing is, your one leg gets massive from kicking the door. The other one gets massive from holding your leg up. That's getting massive.
Yeah, you just have muscle memory now. So it's basically someone's charging at you. You're like, door kick, poof, and he's like, my balls.
Yeah, you just punt him to the moon.
Luckily enough, we were in a low gravity area too, so that's
of course. Yeah,
because realistically, you can't kick someone.
We're on the moon already, or nearing the moon.
Yeah.
So what you do is you open the airlock.
Yeah.
No suits.
Yeah. Just
no suits. You just
hopefully you can hold on from the vacuum.
Yeah.
And you're just shh. You got to grab on, kind of like Sigourney Weaver. Hope for it.
And just break your arm. Yeah.
That was great. All right, so that's been a podcast of sorts.
Of things. Of role-playing podcast.
Some sort of... It's something.
It was events of role-playing.
Yeah.
Ow, that was my ankle.
Congratulations.
Ow, that was my toe.
Congratulations.
I don't know. Right, but I think my leg is exploding slowly.
It could be. Just slowly, breaking down.
And it's
bonitis.
It just falls to pieces.
Yeah, bonitis now. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to bone your itis.
Thanks for watching, guys, and listening.
We'll see you guys later.
Yeah.
Hopefully you don't mind a 1 hour...
Just sitting back for an hour and listening to our sultry voices.
It's so soothing.
So soothing. Just really fluctuating it.
Yeah. See ya.
See ya.